Hey, everybody, it's Andrew Hunzicker with the DOPE CFO podcast. Today, I'm super excited. We've got Molly Mayfield, CPA. She is in our DOPE CFO program and is just doing amazing things, which we're going to talk a lot about. In today's program, one key component of our program is what I call the VIP system. And so I like to say as service providers, whether you're a plumber, electrician, accountant, doctor, lawyer, you got to find great clients and serve them well. To me, the VIP system in our program is literally the secret sauce. And we're going to hear about both the I and the P, which is instructing and participating in your niche today. So we're going to have fun talking about that. Molly is a CPA from Illinois, which is an amazing cannabis state right now. It looks like you have an amazing background that goes way back, Master of Accountancy, almost 20 years. You were at big public firms as a senior and audit manager, which is amazing experience. And then you looked like worked at lots and lots of companies along the way, as well as having your own GreenFlex Financial firm right now, which I want you to tell us about, and doing CFO services too. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in your background. So why don't you actually tell a little bit more about your background to get us started?
Sure. Thank you, Andrew. It's so awesome to be here with you today. And I love the DOPE CFO program.
Awesome.
And, hope I'll get to share a little bit more about that here in our time together today. But in terms of my background, so yes, I am about a 20-year experienced accountant and CPA. Before my official accounting career began, I think my unofficial one began as a child when I started learning how to run the cash register at my parents' business.
Awesome.
And we owned a health-focused retail business for about 40 years.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up, with numbers all around me, and with a mom who oftentimes looked to me for help with organizing bills and paying bills and things like that.
That's awesome. Awesome way to get started. Was this in Illinois as well?
In Iowa, actually. I'm from Iowa.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Not too far.
But I live in a part of Iowa and Illinois where the Mississippi River is what separates the cities that we live in Iowa and Illinois. So I say Iowa and Illinois, but really, where I grew up. Yeah, where I grew up is about 15 minutes from where I live in Illinois.
Well, let me ask you, so you've definitely got an awesome resume. You've been in, I always tell people that get their CPA, if you get into the public accounting realm, it is just great education. I was in Pricewaterhouse as well. But tell us about how you got into cannabis accounting at first, or even got the interest. And frankly, a lot of CPAs still today are nervous about the whole niche.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, I really enjoyed auditing in public accounting. And I really view that as the foundation of my professional accounting career. And I just learned so much, and the breadth of what you're exposed to is amazing. And then after that, as you mentioned, I had positions of like finance leadership positions in privately held companies across different industries, including like manufacturing, broadcasting, some type of financial services, even waste management. And then, yes. So what I really learned is, I feel like I learned it in a practical way through my experience that every business, needs really good accountants if you're going to have reliable information to analyze as the business owner, or as not even as the owner, but as the person responsible for the function. And so I have always had a goal of working in a passion of mine. And another passion I've had is music. I'm a violinist.
Oh, cool.
So at first in my career, I thought I really wanted to find some type of niche to, be involved with accounting in that part of my life. But as my career went on, and as I, came to understand what was happening specifically in Illinois with cannabis, and just the success that I could see, even the businesses that were involved with the industry from the beginning in Illinois, it was just very exciting to me to witness that. And I felt like if I could find a way to capitalize on my experiences in terms of being able to share them with this, entrepreneurial group of business professionals who I felt sometimes, didn't have professional resources like us readily available to them. I saw a real opportunity actually through your program to make a bigger difference through my profession, by connecting with the cannabis industry and connecting with current business owners and future business owners in the industry.
Well, yeah, and it's, you're in a great state. Illinois is, I think, 3 times the size of Colorado in population, which is a $2 to $3 billion market. So Illinois is gonna be huge. And yes, needing people with your background and skill set is just absolutely huge coming into the market. And that said, we can pick up clients anywhere. But yeah, and it's kind of a fun industry as well. And even the music industry, there's been tons of musicians that have been from Willie Nelson to Snoop Dogg that are pushing this movement. I've run across several companies that have had musical people backing them or whatnot. And so there is a little bit of tie in there as well. I wanted to ask you too about before we get into some of the other cool things you're doing, I want you to have a chance to tell us about what are some of the unique skills or traits or offerings that you're going to do with GreenFlex Financial. And by the way, you can tell here, and then we'll tell at the end too, how people can reach you and find you at GreenFlex.
Yes, absolutely. So as I mentioned a little bit in my background, I really do feel like my upbringing of, being brought up in a family that, we were entrepreneurs. I think that brings unique skills to what I can offer. And also from an accounting perspective, I mentioned that audit experience. I really think that, that is key, because my whole career, if I haven't been executing audits, I have been executing an accounting function that has to stand up to an audit and be able to pass an audit. And I know from my experience so far in the cannabis industry, that is, something that even sometimes business owners don't realize is a requirement that's, a part of the documents that they've agreed to, is getting that financial audit done. So I have a skill set that can put that business in the best place possible in terms of being ready for that all year long, like we say in the DOPE CFO program.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And I've got an audit background as well. And it's just beyond value add to these companies that are most part, I would call them at the opposite end of the spectrum. They're so far away from being audit ready. When you stumble upon them, they don't have controls in place in corporate governance or perpetual data room. We build and you build with your company a permanent audit trail for each client every month. And a lot of that stuff that I teach in the program, again, I learned these things out of Big Four long ago of how, and I even put this into practice 20 years ago at my full-time CFO job of, I need to put in controls. I need to do tick marks and tie outs and get people audit ready, because the states are coming, the IRS is coming. If they need a loan or investor, they're going to need audits. Many of the states require audits. When they do M&A or when they do their exit, they need an audit. So it's beyond valuable. So you cannabis owners listening, get a hold of Molly at GreenFlex, because it's a huge value. And frankly, a lot of the industry doesn't have someone with your background and the DOPE CFO program even behind you with all those tools and skills, so you can quickly get them up to speed. I had an email today already from somebody, and they were trying to raise money, and they were just like, their books were a disaster. So it's like, oh, and that's what I tell people. Step one, yeah, you need a dope CFO. Go get your books in order. You can't do anything without good
Right.
books, not to mention correct tax return and lowering your tax. So anyway, that was huge. I think that's huge. So business owners, that is going to be a huge pull. Another huge thing, two things I want to bring in now around social equity is huge word in the nation right now for great reason. Um, so many things. I mean, you could just pull out any rock up, whether it's people in jail right this second, nonviolent criminals that are, it's unfair racially, that we're trying to solve that, to even this industry that's being born in a massive way. Companies are trying, or not companies, states correctly are trying to make sure that we give everyone a fair chance, especially disadvantaged groups or whatever, to
Mhm.
get into the space. And so you got this huge social equity component coming up in the industry. And I know you've had to taken a couple of initiatives, and let's maybe talk about those, and those kind of layer into what I call the secret sauce in my program, this VIP, instructing. V is valuable expert, which you are. I is instructing, and P is participating. If you can do that in your niche, you're going to draw great clients to you. And so I really want to talk, because you're doing both the I and the P with instructing and participating, which means helping in this
Yes.
movement and getting involved. And so why don't you just start wherever you want, and we'll cover several things I know that you're doing. So
Sure. Okay. So I remember, Andrew, when you talked to me about the I and the P, and one thing I haven't mentioned is that I also have experience as a college professor teaching
oh,
accounting classes. So the I part is something that I love. I feel like I'm good at in the right situation. And so the more that I thought about it, I thought, why am I not doing this? And I honestly just made the decision from our discussion that it was time for me to step up to the plate and really do what I wanted to do and believe that I could. So in terms of getting involved, I took your advice and just looked around my state and really looked to see what was available in terms of any like groups that were supporting cannabis business owners. I, in particular, was interested in the social equity happenings. So I found a nonprofit in Illinois that serves cannabis business owner applicants who are in the social equity space. And when I got connected with them, it was honestly just such a refreshing connection and feeling, because it felt like they had been, and they actually said a couple of times, like, we are so glad you're here with us now. We
that's
need someone
awesome.
like you in our
Yes.
group. And when I first applied, because it's a group that I had to apply for,
Yeah.
and then invest in being a part of, because they let associate businesses like ours, of the industry be a part of the group. But the commitment is that you invest in the group financially, and that way, they have the means to support social equity applicants with different, things that they need along the way. So anyway, I decided, this is what I wanted to do. And so the group welcomed me with open arms.
That's awesome.
And just right away started letting me know about the different ways that they felt, that they saw I could provide value to members. And immediately, they got me involved, invited me to events and different things. And I made the decision to invest my time to participate in those events and show up, in a full and prepared way. And so I'm happy to report that I have attended 2 of those events and participated in them. In that, the first one, I just presented about GreenFlex and our offerings, what we do. And there were state legislators, there were legislators there. There were all types of business owners in the cannabis space.
Wow.
I met a marketing, a company that does marketing specifically in the cannabis space, like around events and things like that, and just met people right away who were basically like, I've been wanting to meet you, like we didn't even know we wanted to meet each other. And I just had to show up for that to happen.
I think that's so awesome to hear. And it's just somebody like, oh, it makes such common sense.
Yes.
It's like, well, first off, this industry, social equity is a huge issue. There's so many applicants that are going to need not just money, they're going to need people with skills and can do accounting and tax and controls. And
Yes.
so they need our help. And as you go out and participate in these different associations, there could be a grower association, a retailer, or a political or lobbyist group or social equity group. You are rubbing elbows, like you say, with legislators and marketers and farm owners and applicants. And
Mhm.
all of a sudden, you almost can combine the I and the P. You're participating and helping out at some events. Sometimes you may be instructing. Sometimes they may just say, I've had this happen to me, get up and talk for 3 minutes, just tell the group what you do and what they need to be thinking about at a very high level on 280E or tax. So that's just awesome to hear. I wish I had known about this because kind of accidentally stumbled into it myself. And I was like, oh my gosh, how could I have not done this earlier? Because
Yes.
first of all,
I
people
feel the same way.
you all tell me, and I've thought it. Oh, I hate marketing. I hate cold outreach. I hate bugging people on LinkedIn. Well, when you
Yes,
participate, it's actually fun. You
it
go out and
is.
have fun. You meet people. They're psyched that you're there.
Yes.
Your energy builds. And so I call it now the funnest and best way. There's 100 ways to go get clients, and we teach all of them. But I think participating is actually the most fun and the best way.
Yes, I
So
agree.
tell me more about that, and then we can also lead in. I want to hear in a while. We'll switch into AI CPA, but I want to hear, is there any more about that topic as well?
About the I and the P.
Uh, well, about your and who you're helping out right now, participating with.
Oh, yes.
Has that actually
Yes.
landed a client yet? Or are you starting to talk to them?
Yes, I'm starting to talk to them. I would say I've had a client that I have pitched an offer to, but they haven't been awarded their license yet. They're just getting all
Yeah.
of their entities in order and getting their financials established and things like that. But we had a very good connection, and it's one that I will follow along, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
And then from the most recent event I participated in, I counted that I have 5 prospects that I need to cultivate relationships with.
Wow.
In being in front, with the social equity applicants, some of them are not quite in the phase of business yet, where they need, a full
Yeah.
DOPE CFO trained CPA like me. But I did meet someone right away at that most recent event who really needs help with his pro formas,
Yeah.
So that's an opportunity. I can connect with him on that level, and then be in a position to serve his full operation, which consists of 6 entities.
Yeah. And so what's great about that, what you're doing too, it's amazing how it snowballs. You just get started, and Illinois is not brand new state, but they're cranking along. It's going to crank, and there's going to be more and more companies, and you just start getting, oh, I met this legislator this week, I met someone else the next week, and I met this
Yes.
company, and all of a sudden it can snowball quickly into where all of a sudden you got a lot of people calling you and emailing me. And I saw this happen with myself even back in Oregon when it was just Oregon. So you can have it snowball quickly, and then conversely, I call them kind of unicorn clients. that can pay 10 to 20 grand a month in fees. It doesn't take a lot of those to have a really good firm. You could have one or two. And so as you're going along, you could be mostly focused on helping these groups and whatnot, but more than likely you're going to land on some sizable clients that have a couple of farms and 3 dispensaries. They're doing 30 million in sales and they want your help.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you've got a huge client. It's just awesome what you're doing. I want to ask this question too. Tell us about social equity and what accountants can do to help that issue, because we are in a pivotal position. And if a social equity applicant gets a license, say in Chicago, they're going to need lots of help, but they're definitely going to need accounting and tax help. So what do you kind of message to other accountants in the space?
Yes, well, first off, I think that an accountant in this space, and I meant to speak on this before, but I didn't. I think that you have to feel invested in this industry, meaning you have to have the passion that they have too about this industry, because along the way, we may encounter challenges, we may encounter data that needs cleaned up. And so it's not always, a buttoned up, pretty situation,
Yeah.
So first off, I think that as an accountant in CPA, you really have to be one that has an appetite to conquer those challenges and to feel, your client's passion. And I really feel like when that's there, everything goes so much better. Your clients respond better to you. And as we know, we need really good, tight, timely communication between us and the client in order to produce, a good result in terms of accounting. I feel like they're more likely to want to participate in what you're trying to teach when it comes to what internal controls they need and things like that. I would also say, as the accountant coming into this space, I think that you have to have room, both in your heart and your practice, to give a little bit. I am respectful of the fact that this is a particular group that, they might not necessarily have the the unicorn type funding in terms of, what we're looking for in terms of working with our larger clients. But it's likely that they are going to get there someday. So
they're going to grow. Yeah.
For me to be able to, show them that I'll invest in them a little bit, I think that goes a long way, on the other end, as they start to expand and really understand what they need with accounting. They're going to remember GreenFlex Financial.
And you made another great point, being passionate about the industry. The owners, investors, and most of these license holders are passionate. So they get it when, Molly's actually passionate and believes in the industry. It's a huge point. And then also, they're going to appreciate the help. And since the industry is, there's so many sub niches, you may be helping a farmer out, and the next thing you know is they're introducing you to their 7 different dispensary who can become a client outside of that. So you can draw them in that way real quickly as well.
Yes.
So let's move into the AICPA. So, and I'll just quick plug for this. AICPA is November 8th and 9th, big cannabis conference, the first ever in Las Vegas. I helped plan the conference. I'm going to be speaking twice at it. I'm happy to say Molly is going to be speaking, and even 3 of our other students are speaking there as well. And it's just awesome that the AICPA is now behind this whole movement nationally, and also that they recognize DOPE CFO, and they came to me and they're like, well, yeah, we want your students. We want to have you all involved. And even I think when you were earlier on in the program, you were the very first one that reached out and was like, here, I've got ideas for a talk. And that made a difference. And so when I pitched and I was in the planning committee with a lot of people and senior partners from huge national firms, and I was saying, no, I've got the people that can talk on these subjects. So why don't you talk about that and the AICPA and what you're going to be speaking on, and how that relates to what you're doing as well.
Yes. So I'm very excited about the conference in November, the AICPA Cannabis Conference. And I feel like it is just an indication that, you know, not only our profession, but in our country, I feel like, you know, everyone is coming to accept cannabis in a more professional way. And
Yes.
to me, that's amazing to see, you know, as I know, you know, what it's like to live in accounting, you know, a more just the everyday type of accounting, you know.
Yeah.
But in terms of the speaking engagement, so first, you know, when you started speaking about this opportunity, I thought, well, why me, you know, and could I, you know? But then, you know, I just decided that this is something that I believe in terms of the industry. And then social equity is something that I'm even more passionate about. So I just thought, what an opportunity to be able to be with my peers and to be able to share, you know, what I've learned and experienced when it comes to not only performing accounting for cannabis business owners, but also in working with social equity applicants and getting to know more what is happening in the state of Illinois and the different phases that we're going through of awarding business licenses. I just felt like, you know, I had a responsibility to share this with my peers when given the opportunity. So I'm super excited about that. And it's great that DOPE CFO can show up like that for the AICPA.
It's going to be awesome. So this is a 2-day event, and this is the Keystone Talk at the end of day 1. And they're super excited about this whole topic. And just, yeah, and so a lot of people are talking about social equity around the license holders, the farmers, and the dispensary owners, which is great. But then also for accountants, we want this to be very, very diverse. And those business owners want a diverse set of accountants. They don't want just, so it's just huge.
Yes.
We want a lot of diversity, and we have a lot of diversity in our program, and it's amazing. I love it.
Yes, it is awesome. And you did hit on a good point. I have definitely heard from the social equity applicants that they appreciate having other, you know, not only qualified businesses to work with, but qualified and diverse.
Yes.
So that's definitely back to a previous question. That is a unique, you know, offering that we have here at GreenFlex too.
Oh yeah, that is for certain. And it is important. And so they don't want to just see, and I mean, this is a side topic, but Illinois, so all accounting firms, big and small, are mostly, or at least the bigger ones, are mostly coming into cannabis. The big 4 is kind of the one exception. They're barely dipping their toes in, but the state of Illinois, for some reason, decided to give a big 4. They said, here, why don't you, big, huge company, determine who the social equity winners are? Horrible idea. It was a disaster.
Yes.
Whoever came up with that idea, I'm sure it was 2 people behind closed doors saying, hey, yeah, I know Bob, and so anyway, I'm glad to see, that there was pushback, and that actually made public, because the AICPA, at least on their stance, they are really pushing on this movement as well. I know we're hitting up here we try to stay under 30 minutes. So I'm going to go, let's jump in. We'll talk a little bit about DOPE CFO, and then we'll come back to your firm. What kind of made you decide to join the program? Did you like it? Has it helped you in any way? It's your chance to say the good or bad.
Okay. Well, as I alluded to earlier, I am so grateful that I found the DOPE CFO program. I feel like, honestly, I was at a time in my life where I was missing the passion about what I was doing every day. I always knew that I loved accounting, and, you know, I have a natural skill set also that helps me be good at accounting, I feel like. But what I was missing was really having the deep rooted desire to show up and perform at my all-time best for the people that I'm servicing. And like I said, when I just understood, what was happening in the cannabis industry in terms of just how quickly it was developing, and me knowing, any successful business has to have really good accountants behind them. I knew that there was, like when you're outside of the industry performing audits, reviews, things like that, you know what resources to go to, or you have had experiences that, can help you shape what to do. But in a highly specialized industry like this, when I came across DOPE CFO and had the opportunity to get to know the program a little bit, I became very impressed that.
Good.
Yes. And I remember one of our first conversations, I quickly appreciated the fact that, entering into this industry as an experienced CPA, sure, I know I could figure out, the customized work papers and all of that, but really the opportunity to meet so many peers who are really interested in serving the industry exactly how I am, and also, in being able to have that just backing behind you of the resources that you need as an accountant to perform your job the best as an accountant and CPA really is, an amazing, amazing resource to have in my tool belt, as I like to think of it,
Well, and that's awesome. And I strive to have the program be complete, that it's education, a really good way, and marketing system, which we've been talking about today, but then also that toolbox of work papers already tailored for people like you that, yeah, you're smart, you got the big public background, but
Right.
You don't have to go create all these work papers. They're already ready to go. And then that community at your back. So it kind of operates like a national firm. You can
Yes.
have some random question about, a Detroit bank or whatever it is, it will get answered in our community. So I hope those tools and resources are serving you well. And the fact that I'm super committed to helping the people in my program. So hopefully
Yes, you
helps as
really
well.
are. And that has taken me a long way too. I feel like at different points in the journey, when I have felt a little discouraged, you're always right there to help me understand why I shouldn't be, and, to pivot where I need to pivot and that type of thing. So it's really like having a coach, if you will, also a little bit, I think.
Well, thank you so much for all the nice words. And that's actually posted in the group somewhere today. Same exact thing I teach, and it's on my main to-do list every day. I have like 5 keys to success of my company, and step 1 and 2 is take care of my students, respond, encourage them, and put out content to help them, and then build my own VIP to help them as well. And so that's huge, and you're going to be, I know it, very, very successful as we go forward. Let's talk about you. Tell us where business owners can find you.
Yeah.
We're going to put your digital badge and your website and links in the show notes, but the easiest ways to find you as well, because business owners will want to be finding you.
Yes. So you can always email me at Molly, which is with a Y, at greenflexfinancial.com. And it's green like the color and flex like your arm, financial.com. And also I'm on social media on Instagram and Facebook. And then you will also find my website, which is www.greenflexfinancial.com. And on there, I have a calendar booking link where any business owner may book a free 15-minute call with me to help me understand what they may need with their accounting function, and if we can partner.
Okay, that's awesome. And you have you've got the background, the skills, the tools, and the knowledge now. So I would highly recommend you business owners giving Molly a call. Do you have any final thoughts? Normally I say to other accountants or CPAs or enrolled agents or bookkeepers, but especially people in diverse groups who might be thinking, oh, I can't do that, or
Yes.
any encouragement for them?
I would say, first of all, we should never say that we can't do something. We should always figure out how we get to the yes, how we get
Yes.
around whatever we're feeling challenged with. And I think as, a person who is in the diverse world, I think that sometimes, it can feel discouraging. Like, not only are you trying to conquer this goal that seems so big, maybe you're also trying to do it with, people who don't look like you, and that may make you feel a certain way. So you have to get over that and figure out who you can connect with that makes you feel, like you are being productive with your goals and meeting your goals, and that you have the professional experience on your team that you need. And I would just say, never give up, and let's, don't be discouraged, and continue to always work towards the yes, getting to where you want to be.
Awesome. Well, that's great advice. And I would just back up everything you said. And it's just a huge industry right now. And we need diversity from day one in this industry. And it's a big issue to the business owners as well. So yes, get involved if you can, learn and build your own expertise. And to wrap up, if you want to learn more, we do have a complete program. If you want a quick shortcut, and you want to, like Molly says, network with other absolutely highest quality people in the industry, give us a call at dopecfo.com. You can find information there and reach me there. You can also follow me on Instagram at dopecfo1. I'm on there pretty much daily. But anyway, that was awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. I can't wait to meet you in November, when that's going to be super fun too. And by the way, that's a cool thing. Over the years, we meet at different events. I spoke at Arkansas with, I think, 4 other students 3 years ago, or Washington or Boston. And so we meet each other at these different events, and we go out to dinner together. And so that's going to be super fun.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it.
See you then, and hope to see a lot of you then, but we will see everyone next time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.